Shubhashish Bhutiani, who's the director of Mukti Bhawan that was recently released and has got a lot of critical acclaim the world over and recently was released in theatres. So we are going to ask quite a few questions to him about the film, his journey as a filmmaker, and if you have any questions, please type them over here. We will get him to answer those questions as well. Okay. So, to begin with, could you tell us about your journey as a filmmaker? What prompted you to get into filmmaking? What inspired you?
What inspired me, I guess, to get into filmmaking as a whole was it started off with acting initially because it was something I enjoyed doing, and I found a way to express myself in school. And from there, I knew it was one of those things that I really enjoyed. And so I started writing in school a lot, and then when I came back to Bombay for a holiday once, I decided I wanted to intern on a film set.
Okay.
And that's kind of where I saw how everything works, and it was really defining few months for me, because I couldn't believe this is how films were made. Now, the other thing was that I was an avid film watcher since I was a kid. My father watched a lot of movies growing up, so I used to always give him company, and so I kind of, so I think somewhere everything mixed together, and when it was time for me to kind of decide what I really want to do, what I love doing, I only could think of film. It was that or cricket. But cricket, I was not, in India, to become a cricketer, you need to be a really special player. But so I really love filmmaking. I loved cinema a lot. I loved writing and I loved acting, and then when I directed my first play, I found so much joy in telling a story that getting everybody together, the set, the actors, even though it was at a school level, that I knew that I had to continue to pursue that. So yeah, I think that's how I kind of got into it.
Did you also take a formal training or education as far as?
This is going to be a very funny video with your hiccups, but I think we should embrace the fact that he has hiccups. Somebody's remembering you a lot, and it's going to it'll be fun. First thing I did after finishing school was I was not like academically inclined. Let's say that's the formal words we use, but I wanted to go and I wanted to learn about film, and I also wanted to travel a little more and see. And I had this opportunity to go to a school that taught that. So I went to New York City in a place called School of Visual Arts to start studying cinema, watching movies from around the world, and start making my own things also. So I think that's kind of the first time I touched a camera, I edited and things like that. So that was really important for me.
And you first shot into limelight with the short film Kush that won the National Award, and that had also won an award at Venice.
Yeah.
So could you just talk about what led you to directing that film?
What led me to directing that film was that I had heard, but again, I was just a student in school in an economics class when I was, I think in 10th or 11th standard, when my teacher told me about this experience she had. And I realized that one, I didn't know about this event in history because nobody talks about the 1984 riots in classrooms. And secondly, that the story was so present that I felt that I was a kid in the bus when she told me that story. So somewhere I never thought, I'll make a film about, again, it's something common in my life that I never, when the idea first comes, it'll be a film. It's a story that stays with you a lot, and then later you're like, maybe it can be a film. So I wanted to make something I deeply connected to, and I really felt that that Kush was a story I had to make and tell. And and when my first opportunity came to kind of put like real funds, a real team together and make a short film, even though again we were really tight on resources, I had to make Kush, and it was like my biggest learning experience.
We have started getting the questions.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So first question is, opening shot was an open field for Mukti Bhawan.
Yeah.
and the closing was in a very congested lane. Was there any specific thought behind it?
Well, I mean, we had thought. I had the ideas of the first image, and but the second, the congested lane was something that we found in Varanasi, and it became a common thing of the film where even when he's coming down the rickshaw, when he's just coming to the hotel, it's so tight the lane that he has to get off and walk with the rickshaw to get down there. So it's something that we discovered, and I also really liked the visual feel of it when they were coming through the lane, and at the end, obviously, when he comes and then it opens up a little bit more. So I thought, or we thought, like the whole thing that visually it spoke to us a lot. Now I don't want to, when we talk about an idea too much, I think sometimes it loses its quality also at the same time. But yeah, it was something for me. Maybe not the first and last shot as much as them specifically of trying to create those small things that people are coming out of and creating a bigger feel.
Okay, since we are already talking about Mukti Bhawan,
Yeah.
so could you just tell us a bit more about how the idea of the film come out and how?
Yeah, well, the idea of the film came to me actually. I was just discussing with my producer that the idea came a long time ago. Like what feels like a long time ago, much before I started writing it. Because I remember telling him that after I'd gone to Banaras also, that there's this hotel and there's this place where this happens, and I showed pictures. I'd made a presentation, and somewhere I felt that this should be a film, and I didn't know that time it'll be a documentary, a short story, a narrative film. What will it be? But this place, the people, the city was something again that didn't leave me for months, and then it kind of became validated to me to become a movie, So that's how I kind of judge whether something should be is something I should work on or not. So the idea came from there, from the first travel, and also stuff was happening at home where I was seeing people, take care of their parents and how difficult their lives were trying to manage everything. So I think somewhere it all came together.
So another question is from a filmmaker, Rohit Pathak. He wants to know what was brief to Tajdar Junaid, who has given the background music of the film.
Well, a brief is, the first brief is always...
And he has one more question.
Mm.
What was your idea for the background score?
My idea for the background score?
And what was your brief to Tajdar?
My actually idea for the background score... Okay, so for Tajdar, now it's a bit difficult for me to remember exactly what we were discussing, but it started again from me using... See, Taj for me has a very strong sense of what his sound is at this point, or what I had heard, and I was really inspired by his music to write the film, to write the screenplay. So in some ways, I never felt I had to brief him in the sense that, Taj, this is what I have. I respect him so much as a artist and a composer, that my first thing was that let's come up with a theme for the film, and in some ways let him be. I wanted him to first come up with, have his own thoughts, and we would often talk about what the story is about to me, what feelings we're going for, what the dysfunctionality of this father and son. So it was more geared about that and letting the person kind of work. I'm sure you give it to, and the first theme he sent me, even though it's super duper similar to what we ended up using. Then later you go modify and things. And each track we worked on a lot, In fact, I think music was one of those things that we really worked hard on. For instance, there's 2-3 tracks in that play in the film, and the theme was the bass. But then after that, we did a lot of homework and worked a lot before we went to actually record the track. But one thing I did do with Taj was I really involved him early in the editing process. I used to call him when the film was being edited to watch the film and respond to it musically, or he would do it on his own. He would bring an instrument and he would start playing, and we would then start to decide which places we felt we wanted to play music and things like that. So we would have a lot of discussions about that, but it was a very easygoing process with Taj. It was never very forced, and I knew that it was a very good healthy relationship between trying to make the film what I was trying to do and him taking charge of his music and doing it the way he does it best. Not trying to be too much stifling him.
Gaurav Shadar wants to know, Banaras in Mukti Bhawan is very up close and personal in terms of its visual representation on screen. Camera never looks or behave like an obsessed admirer of this mystical city. How could you resist that?
We were conscious of trying to do that, and again, I don't know how many logical answer because it's a 100-minute film, so every shot again is very. We did want to be quite intentional with our shots because again we were making a film. We wanted to make a film a certain way, and not be taking a shot of everything all the time. We wanted to know what we were going for in various scenes. And I think the way we resisted that, if we did, I thank you for that, is that we try to focus on the story and the characters as much as possible. Trying to tell the story rather than and focus on the relationships of the people and that moment as much as possible rather than try to do something else. So even in the Ganga Aarti, I feel there is a scene like that. I feel we did try to focus as much on the family dynamics and use the Ganga Aarti as a setting to let that come out, but use that more.
His next question is
Sorry. I'm ready. You can tell me.
how easy or trying the subject was as a film project to pitch?
It was hard because I'm not a good pitcher. That's a different thing. But when people once understood the idea, I think they felt there is a film there. Everybody felt excited about the film. But I'll also say that I'm not the world's best pitcher, so I'm still learning how to pitch. So that's another thing. I think pitching is obviously about to tell people about the story. Obviously the story is important, but how you tell it is important. So I'm still learning that. But as an idea, it was not as challenging because once we had worked on the idea, we could see inherently there was a story that could be told well there.
So now continuing with the film. So could you tell us about how the sorry, I'm
How
so
the
sorry. I think this is going to be really funny.
Yeah, it's good. They'll
Sorry
enjoy
for
it.
that.
Entertainment also. No, this is entertainment.
How did the casting come about? And
Well, so my casting director is Gopal De. It's his first film too, and he was I wanted someone new who will really put an effort to go everywhere and look for as many people, especially the people that are over a certain age bracket because there's not that many actors above a certain age. So Gopal really went to Bombay, Delhi, Banaras, and with the help of our team in Banaras as well, together they were starting to audition a lot. As for Adil was a actor that we all felt would be appropriate and great for this part. But when I met him, I really felt that even more because he made me feel very comfortable, and I really felt this would be a role that he's not really explored before, this kind of space.
I have a question here, but
oh.
Adil Hussain doesn't come from that part of the
Yeah,
India.
yeah.
He is from Assam,
Yeah,
and the background was set in Kanpur and Banaras.
yeah.
So how did you convince yourself that he's apt for this role?
Well, I mean,
His dialect is not there.
he's an actor first of all.
Yeah.
So I don't think that Adil should only play Assamese roles or something like that. And I personally think that the spirit or whether the actor fits the part is very, very important. Now there's no point in, I'm not saying that there is no one in UP who cannot do this role because that would be absurd as well. I'm sure that there are so many great actors, and it just happened that he's a great actor, and I felt that he embodies the spirit of that role. So, for instance, Palomi, she played a Goan in her last film, and people think she's from Goa, but she's not Goan, because she's an actor. So it's not something that's that bothered me or something. And we knew we were trying to speak in a Hindi that was not. The Hindi that this family was speaking was a much more simple language that they were talking, and very daily casual, which I've seen in many parts, whether it's in Kanpur and other cities around India as well. Even in my family in Jodhpur, it's not such a specific dialect of Hindi that you cannot. When they speak Marwari, of course, if the film was in Marwari, which then of course I would be like, okay, I need someone who speaks Marwari. But in this case, I felt that we were fine, and most of the actors that surrounded these lead actors were people from Banaras or Lucknow, maximum Lucknow.
People are congratulating you, Shekhar, saying great work. I love this film. Shekhar, yeah.
Oh, thank you, Shekhar.
There's another compliment we have.
Oh,
Mukti Bhawan is very good philosophy, meditation, and entertainment at
oh,
same
thank
place.
you, Gaurav. That's very
And he's
kind.
saying, well done, Shubhashish.
Thank you.
So I
That's
think
really
that's
kind.
also some validation.
No, that's great. I mean, it's a very, in terms of, at least I felt while writing it that in terms of its creative challenges, there were like quite a few to, be a certain way. And you could always go a certain way more than the other, whether it is philosophical, whether it is entertainment, whether it's, so try to find a balance, and always there will be some.
So here we have one philosophical question. It says, what was your first experience of death?
My first experience
Yeah.
of death. I'm not, I
So
mean.
you are very young. You're just
Yeah.
24, 25.
But I mean, we've all encountered death at some point in our life. Although I will say I'm very fortunate that my parents are with me still. So that is, I feel blessed about that.
But like you were there in Banaras while
Yeah.
shooting. So you
Actually,
might have
I would
seen a
rather
lot of-
speak about that experience because my
Banaras Ghat to be
what I felt when I first went to Banaras Ghat, the Manikarnika Ghat, which is the Shamshan Ghat, is it's a really surreal feeling to see what you see there. Whether it's the animals that are roaming around there, the smell, the casualness of a lot of the people that work there, the matter, but and then obviously the fact that you are seeing a body burn, like you can see the skeleton, you can see everything, and that's quite a, for me at first experience. I mean, even if I go today, I think it will be a strong experience. But at first experience, it was something that left a deep impression on me. And you can't use a word that I felt sad, because I cannot say I felt sad. It compartmentalizes that emotion too much. But you feel an array of things, and your mind is just it's an experience, and any experience I don't think you can ever just define. You can't define it so clearly.
Another thing is that despite dealing with a serious sorry, I'm so sorry.
This is great.
Despite-
I'm enjoying this. I want to
Despite dealing with a serious subject,
Yeah.
there is quite a lot of undercurrent of humor.
Yeah.
And something which is very subtle, not slapstick, something which it makes people laugh, but at the end they are also kind of taken aback, or they are left moist-eyed. So how did you manage to interweave humor in such a serious story?
See, like, look at our moment right now.
Yeah.
You just happen to have hiccups. Now, if I put that in a film, someone might be like, "Ye kya? What is this?"
Sorry.
But I'm saying it's real. It's this humor comes from real life, And I think that life is filled with humor even in the most dire situations, for sure. And it was not a conscious effort to maybe like try to get laughs or something like that, but to have a smile while writing the film.
There was a particular scene which I really felt was funny. When the grandfather said, "Will you come with me?" and the daughter said, "Kahan? Wahan?
Yeah.
Yeah, Banaras."
Yeah, but see, that's something even the actor brings on. I don't remember exactly. See, now every time I cannot remember this idea this person gave me, or this person did this, that I did not write that, because that's a silly thing to do. But I'm saying many times an actor brings. I think in this case Palomi did the thing, and it worked, and we loved it, and it was so where the humor comes in, and there are many times where people laugh that I didn't expect them to laugh, because I didn't laugh at that while I edited it, for instance. But that also happens in a theater when I've been there. So it's not something that you try to put down your throat. Hopefully, it's something that hopefully feels part of the film. Like just flows with the film. That's and humor is a great way to, I think, include people into a movie. And it's so lifelike, because, like I said, you're hiccuping on an interview right now. It's part
I
of
feel
life.
like covering my face.
Don't. It's okay. It's fine. It's life. It's part of life.
Yeah. So now talking about, like, before the film released in the theaters, you had started quite a journey with as far as the festival are concerned. Like, it went to Venice, and it had won the UNESCO award and all that. So and of course your earlier film also was at Venice, and it was a contender for Oscar short. So could you just talk about the overall journey of the film which in the festival, like, Mukti Bhawan, like.
What would you like to know about that? I want to like make it. I want to be able to give you.
Within what did you learn from that? And how did you go about pitching your film to the?
We don't really pitch films to festivals.
traveling
They select and all that stuff.
Right.
But in this case, Venice, there's a thing called the Biennale who knew about the idea, and we had applied because they had first and second time filmmakers. So I applied there, and then when we made the film, we played at Venice, part of their program, and then it went to many places. And what that does, what festivals have helped me is to, because I started off not knowing anything about anything in this film world, let's say, and what happens is that we are also obviously all aware of what happens on a, let's say, a big film with a big movie star and all that comes to theatre. It does a very usual palette thing. So, but where does the audience come for a film that doesn't have that? Where do people start out? I think this was the way I found an avenue to start showing my film. Because that was important for us. And when I was that time making film, I don't know how big it was, but the consciousness was not so high in us that the internet is a great place. We saw the internet that time at least as a place where if you put a film there, you don't know if people are going to watch it or not, because there's so much video on YouTube and all. That I didn't want to just put it somewhere and and then hope that one or two people
get lost in the.
It can get lost, and it gives you a place to show the film. And I never even been to Europe in my life, so forget winning an award and all this stuff. So I was so thrilled to go to Italy for the first time in my life, and it's like that. It's been a journey where I've been trying to make my work, and day by day I'm very young in the education of all of this. I'm still trying to figure it all out, and right now these two films have found a way to play at festivals and get an audience and now get released here in India, and that I didn't imagine. So it's like every day is kind of like a process of discovery for me for some aspect of filmmaking, whether it is the editing process or whether it is how to get people to watch your film, or get people to watch the film. So it's kind of I'm not the best maybe the best teacher of that this is what festivals are and this is the best strategy for you, because I've not gone very strategized previously, except that I've wanted the films to go I've learned that I want the films to go to places so that people from different cultures can also have access to the movie.
So we have one question again from Facebook. So it's Gaurav who's asking, what was the pretext or context behind Mishra ji apne paan khaya, aap paan khaya kijiye expression?
Oh, at the end, because in the scary scene, because that was a moment where this Adil's character is obviously very freaked out and he's scared. The whole idea of that scene was that what would happen in the first night of someone who's staying in Mukti Bhawan, because it's not obviously a hotel, it's not room service and everything. So the idea of that was after the scene is that Mishra ji is trying to tell him to calm down. It'll help you relax. It's in your head too much, and it'll help you relax. So that's kind of the context of that thing. Is that okay, Gaurav?
Yeah, I think so.
I hope you're there still.
So any other interesting experience which happened during the making of the film while shooting which you'd like to share?
I don't know. I feel all of it was very interesting, but I don't know where to.
Maybe one particular incident that stayed in your mind or something which.
Well,
someone has also asked, what was your high point in Banaras?
What was my high point of shooting in Banaras?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. See, my high point was that Banaras, our hotel was on one, where we were staying in a hotel. Where we were staying was on one side of the ghat, and where we were shooting was on the other end. So because of traffic and all, Banaras traffic is very famous. That it was unviable for us to take a car every day 2 hours, whatever it is. So we said we'll take a boat from the first ghat to the end. So I used to love that we start the day and end the day on a boat ride, and we would see the sun. It's so cold, and people are coming to, in the morning to do their business in the before even sunrise, and you're like walking through this little mountain, getting onto the boat, but then going and watching the sunrise with your crew, and you're starting to discuss the shots of the day, the scenes of the day, and what we want to do, and Adil and I also will sit together, and he'll be reading his lines, and we'll discuss a little bit. It's just like such a good way to start, so calm and like peaceful.
Meditating.
Yeah, I wasn't meditating. I was like very cold. I was feeling cold and just like and scared for the day. Every day you was just like, what are we gonna do? And at the end of the day, and there were some very rough days also because it doesn't always go as you planned. We would always come back and we'd go have apple pie. It's very famous there. It's iconic apple pie, best apple pie I've ever had in the whole world. At this place called Vatika. It's free advertising.
Did you have bhang?
No, I didn't have, but some people had in the crew. I was quite focused on the shoot that time, and so the apple pie is like it put you in a good mood every day. After you finish, even if you had a really bad day.
So now going ahead, what inspires you? Which filmmakers have inspired you?
There's so many filmmakers that inspire me. Sometimes I get tired because I was such a film geek. I was telling you that at one point I remember that in my free time, suppose I was waiting for someone, doctor's mother's gone to do something and she's taken me with her and made me sit. Like there's various moments in the day where you're not doing anything. I would sit and I start ranking directors I like, or not ranking, but like writing all the names of directors I like, or the last 10 films I've seen that I really like. Now I make lists of all films that I see or TV shows. But like that time I was, always making this list or which ones are left I have to see.
अभी last 5 films कौन सा देखा आपने?
वो मेरे लिस्ट में है, मुझे देखना पड़ेगा अभी. पर मुक्ति भवन मैंने एक बार वीकेंड पे देखा because I wanted to see once with an audience. So that was a really nice.
Was there any in recent times one film that has stayed with you? Like I know like you made a list and all that, but one film that you saw.
Indian film.
Indian or abroad?
International.
See, in Indian film I really liked was Killa. I think it's really brilliant. And even then, last year, which film did I really love? Then I loved Whiplash when it came out. I remember really liking Whiplash. That's a very good film.
Okay.
And who's your favorite director?
Yeah.
पता नहीं दो ये सवाल मत पूछो क्योंकि मेरे लिस्ट बाहर आ जाएगा फिर. एक दिन I should put this. I want to put this list up so other people can also maybe find some movies they like.
Now you can tell them that your film and ask them to watch
in theaters.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So we're good. We're good now.
Yeah.
Hi everybody. So I'm the director of Mukti Bhawan, and Mukti Bhawan is out in cinemas now. So please go see this film in theaters. It's all over India, at least till Friday. Then I don't know then I don't know how many cities after that. But until then, please go see the film. It's really fun in a theater. We shot it for that. So.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you guys for having me. Yeah.
This was the final.
Just close it.
Finish करो ना.